As I sat in the cinema watching the red M&M talking to the yellow one, I took a moment to remind myself what made the original Evil Dead so great. It was the shock factor. It was the originality. Let's face it, it was Bruce Campbell. Sam Raimi's classic may not have aged well, being made on so little money, but it gave audiences something they'd never seen before. Skip ahead 6 years and the original crew returned, with a remake of their own film, only this time with more humour and more scenes that you never forget. It became an instant cult classic, inspiring a generation of filmmakers. And then, of course, Sam and Bruce returned for the third, Army of Darkness, which I personally believe is one of the greatest comedies of all time, with dashes of guts and gore thrown into the mix. So when Sam Raimi said that a remake of their brilliant films was to be released, I sat on the fence. I don't like remakes! But with Raimi and Campbell both producing, I thought, I'm in. A new director was hired in Fede Alvarez, and with Diablo Cody, writer of Juno and Jennifer's Body, on script rewrite duty, I was excited with this rehash. And then the film started. Warning, there may be spoilers in the rest of this review. So things kick off pretty quickly with a decent little prologue that sets the ball rolling. However, it does feel unnecessary. Then we get down to business. Instead of the gang going to the cabin in the woods for spring break, they go by way of intervention. Jane Levy's character is a drug addict, who is brought to the cabin to detox, as it were. Then they find what appears to be a dark, dark cellar. In the dark, dark cellar, they find the Book of the Dead. Sadly, no longer called the Necronomicon. Some idiot reads it, and then the excrement hits the fan. The powers that be decide to possess Jane Levy's character Maya, and as her behaviour gets stranger and stranger, it is thought that her behaviour is due to withdrawal symptoms from the drugs, which I thought was a nice touch. From there, it's every man and woman for themselves. Most of the dialogue seems cliched, but that can be ignored. What really impressed me was the fact that the film had very little CGI effects. Alvarez kept to that Evil Dead tradition of doing the effects practically, and with a budget of 17 million to hand, it looks bloody fantastic. Forgive the pun. And it reminds us of a time when CGI wasn't used. Although this film has no sense of humour, I found myself laughing at the nods to the original trilogy, and was genuinely amazed at some of the practical effects, some of the best I've seen since, dare I say it, The Exorcist. But like I said, the film doesn't laugh at itself, which is fine, but isn't what Evil Dead is really about. Raimi added touches of the Three Stooges to his films, whereas this remake goes for all-out disgusting. So to sum it up, it might not have decent dialogue, likeable characters, apart from Levy, or a sense of humour, but it does have enough set pieces, great effects, and references to the original that kept me entertained throughout. And whatever you do, stay until after the credits. You won't regret it.
We're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.